Today, we're diving into a strange and, frankly, pretty alarming mystery that's playing out right now across the internet. It's a story about a new kind of digital siege, and this whole breakdown is brought to you by us here at Restoring the Mind.
So imagine this. Over the past month or so, it starts as a trickle. Web admins notice things are sluggish, but then it grows into a flood. All over the world, websites, e-commerce sites, news pages, even your favorite personal blogs, they just started to choke, slow down, and in a lot of cases, completely crash. And this wasn't some random bug. It was a silent, invisible tidal wave of traffic.
And that's where things get really interesting. You have to ask, right, is this just a massive, unfortunate glitch in the system? Or are we looking at a coordinated, intentional attack? Well, the more people looked, the less it seemed like an accident. Let's dig into what they found.
Okay, so the very first clue was this massive, and I mean massive surge in traffic that was hitting servers all across the Western world. But this wasn't like a video going viral or a big news story breaking. This felt different. It was quiet. Almost too quiet. So the investigators started tracing this traffic back to its source. And when they did, the data was overwhelmingly clear. It was coming from just two places, China and Singapore. We're not talking about little random spikes here. This was a sustained, high-volume fire hose of data from a very specific part of the globe.
And you might think, okay, so who were they targeting? Well, just about everyone. It wasn't a precision strike on one industry. It was a shotgun blast. E-commerce stores, big corporate sites, news portals, medical websites, even small personal blogs got hit. The sheer scope of it suggests the goal wasn't just to take down one company, but maybe to test the entire system.
But here is the real kicker. While server logs showed a huge number of new visitors, these weren't people, not even close. The cybersecurity experts digging into this quickly realized they were dealing with something automated, something robotic. And there were some dead giveaways. Think about how you browse the web. You click on links, you scroll down a page, you read things. You probably got here from a Google search or another site. This mystery traffic, it did none of that. It just connected directly to the server, ran the same machine-like script over and over with robotic precision, and showed zero signs of actual human engagement. These were bots, plain and simple. All right, that leads us to the billion-dollar question. Why? What is the ultimate goal of unleashing a massive ghost army of bots on the internet? Well, the analysis is pointing towards a few pretty chilling possibilities. So the experts have kind of boiled it down to four main theories. Number one, data scraping. Basically, they're mapping the web, looking for vulnerabilities to use in a bigger attack later on. Two, crypto mining. They could be hijacking server power to mine cryptocurrency for free. Three, a massive stress test, just poking and prodding Western cyber defenses to see how they hold up under pressure. And number four, the simplest one, pure sabotage, just creating chaos by overwhelming servers until they break. Every single one of those scenarios is pretty alarming. So what's your take? Which motive do you think is the most likely driver here? I'm genuinely curious what you all think, so let us know your theory in the comments. Now, let's talk about how this attack actually worked. The weapon they chose wasn't some super sophisticated virus. It was actually way more fundamental. They went after each server's memory. The easiest way to think about a server's RAM is like its short-term memory. It's what lets the server juggle all the tasks needed to load a website for you. But just like our own memory, it's finite. And when you overload it, the whole system just grinds to a halt. And here's the absolutely staggering number. This bot traffic, all by itself, was eating up more than 40% of the available RAM on these servers. I mean, just imagine trying to function if 40% of your brain power was suddenly hijacked by a single, useless, repetitive thought. You couldn't do it, and neither could these servers. That's what made this so effective. Hey, by the way, if you're finding this explainer from Restoring the Mind helpful, do us a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps us keep digging into these huge, complex stories. So let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just a technical problem for IT departments. This event feels like a symptom of a much bigger and way more alarming trend, the slow fracturing of the one global internet we've always known. One cybersecurity expert put it in really stark terms. He said the internet could become, and I'm quoting here, divided like East Germany and West Germany once were. He's talking about a digital iron curtain, splitting the web in two. And these attacks don't just happen in a vacuum. You can kind of see the writing on the wall. For years, we've had China's Great Firewall. More recently, Russia has been building its own separate internet called RuNet, and in response, the West has started banning apps like TikTok. This latest server attack, it feels like the next logical and much more aggressive step in that same direction. So where does this all lead? Well, there are a few possible futures. We could end up with a heavily militarized global internet with constant cyber attacks between nations, or that clean east-west split we just talked about. We might even see it fragment further into regional internets, or even total balkanization, where every country has its own walled-off network. Just think about that for a minute. A world with actual digital borders, where you might not be able to access a website or a service just because it's hosted in another country. Are we actually prepared for a reality like that? Share your thoughts on this down below.
So, when you put all the pieces together, where does it leave us? Well, we're left with a mystery that is still very much unsolved, but it's one that carries a really urgent warning about where our digital world is headed. We still have these huge unanswered questions. Who specifically is behind this? Was their real goal to steal data to make some crypto, or just to test the West's defenses for something much, much bigger down the road? What this really drives home is how the whole concept of conflict is changing. The battlefields of the past were fought on land, sea, and air, separated by physical walls. Today's battlefield, it's servers and data centers, and the borders are made of digital firewalls.
The bottom line is a new type of threat has well and truly arrived. It doesn't announce itself with a bang. It shows up in server logs and overloaded memory. It's coordinated, it's silent, and its reach is absolutely global.
People say the next major global conflict will begin not on a battlefield, but on servers. It leaves you with one final, pretty unsettling question. Are we already in it? This has been a production from Restoring the Mind. If you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and share your own thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.